It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Georgia State Panthers football video coordinator, Chantel Audaine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Brandon. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to work inside college athletics?
Well, I knew at a young age that I wanted to work in the sporting industry. I just didn't know what route I wanted to take. And then when I graduated high school and I went to University of Alabama, I knew I wanted to work with sports, but I also at that time when I first went to school, I was a chem major, wanting to study pre-pharmacy. So I had to talk with my mom, and she told me, well, do what you love. Don't do what's gonna get you paid a lot of money. Do something that you love. So that's when I switched my major to sport management, and I started working my way into college athletics.
Of course, what was it like going to Alabama and then coming to Georgia State to go to school to become a sports management?
It was a journey for me because, like I said, I started out as a chem major. Didn't do any kind of sport management classes. My classes were a lot heavy based in science. So going to Alabama, it was fun. I had a great time. A lot of my friends were there because I grew up in Montgomery, Alabama. But I still also have family in Georgia. So navigating from Alabama to Georgia State, it was a big jump for me, but it was a jump that I needed to have because I was back home. My mom was here, and I was able to help her out while going back to school at Georgia State and just finishing out what I started. Because I had a little break in between my time at Alabama and my time at Georgia State to where I was able to grow up, know what I wanted to do, and now I'm focused on, okay, this is where I want to be, and this is how I'm going to get there.
Of course, what was it like studying in sports management and also sports administration at Georgia Southern?
So it was great. So I got my associate from Georgia State Perimeter College in sport management. And then I took that over and went to the main downtown Atlanta campus to get my sport admin, my bachelor's. So it was great. Georgia State has a really awesome program, especially their master program is great as well. So I really enjoyed my professors, really hands on. I got to work with some of my classes. We worked with companies like Sony and Van Wagner on projects, real life projects. So that helped me when I got into my field. Okay, I've seen this before because of what I did my junior year or what I did my senior year. It's not just brand new or foreign to me. I've worked with these big name companies for projects, so now I know I can do it in my regular everyday life.
Of course, going to Alabama, what was it like working and covering the flag football, softball, and soccer?
Oh, it was really fun. It was really fun. So being able to work in intramurals was my stepping stone into getting to where I am now. That's what allowed me to be like, hey, I can enjoy what I do, and that's all that matters. I'm not worried about how much I'm getting paid and this and that. All I know is I enjoy waking up every day. So the good thing is also at that time I was still a student. So it was a student-based position. So it was fun. Like I flag football the most is what I enjoyed the most because I really love football. I've been a college football fan since I was 8 years old, big Alabama fan. And of course now a big Georgia State fan too, as being an alumni and working for them as well. So I had a great time. Flag football is something that I still enjoy reffing to this day. I ref girls flag football for GHSA, and I also ref men's tackle football for GHSA as well. I'm a line judge. So just being around football to me is just so enjoyable. And getting into sports like soccer and softball, just learning something new. I just really enjoyed it. Not Soccer was a lot of running. So
Of course, how is that like obviously becoming the official for the flag football for Alabama?
it was fun. I got to meet a lot of different people. I got to see even some of the players on the Alabama Crimson Tide regular football team. So that was pretty cool. They would come out and watch some of the flag football games as well. So, like for instance, my time there, I got to meet AJ McCarron. So that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot. It allowed me to go to a tournament at Middle Tennessee State, and I got to ref flag football teams from around the country. So that was pretty cool too. So I will say it allowed me to meet a lot of different people and it take me to different places.
Of course, how is it like coming from the SEC to coming to Georgia State?
Well, you know, getting to work at Alabama in a student capacity versus then coming to Georgia State, a Sunbelt school, in a more full-time role, it's a little bit different. You know, it's a bigger school, of course. Alabama is a bigger school than Georgia State as far as athletics is concerned, but it doesn't mean that the programs themselves are any different. So Georgia State has a real big intramural program as well. I just didn't get to work with them. I started working with the football team as a student assistant. So it was different, but just mainly because of the capacity of work I was doing. So at Alabama, I was more so just doing a student-based job versus my time at Georgia State, I'm doing more full-time work.
Of course, how is it like coming back to your alma mater of Georgia State and becoming the football video coordinator?
Well, I'm proud. You know, I'm proud to call Georgia State University. It's a great university. I'm glad to be able to say I graduated from here. To others that, you know, I graduated from Georgia State University, and I'm proud to be able to work for this football team. You know, it's still a growing program. We've only been around for about 13 years, so the program is still growing. We're still, you know, making a name for ourselves, and I'm just excited. I'm just glad. You know, how not many people can say they work where they graduated from. So I'm just proud to say go Panthers.
Of course, what are some of your roles as the football video operations assistant?
Well, my time as an assistant, I was able to edit the film for coaches. So I work in coaches video. So what we did, all the film that helped the players and the coaches, scout teams, and our practices, we would edit that, give that to them. We will also just set up any technological needs that the team has. I got a chance to help out. I didn't do too much as an assistant because I wasn't the full-time coordinator last year. So I just got to be able to learn under the coordinator last year, just watch him and see, okay, how do I operate here? How do I operate there? How do I work the software that we use? We use a software called Catapult for our editing needs and our filming needs. So just being able to just mess around with that software as an assistant was a big learning experience for me.
How is it like, obviously, becoming the head coordinator and being promoted to become the football video coordinator?
Well, it was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting it, the position open, and I saw the opportunity and I said, well, I would like to work somewhere where I am familiar with the coaching staff versus having to go somewhere new. I think that helps me out a lot, that I didn't have to go to a new place. I knew most of the coaches. Some of them knew me, but not all of them. But some of them, they either knew me or they knew of me. They saw me. They saw the work that I did behind the scenes. So I was really glad when I was able to sit down with Coach Elliott and he interviewed me and gave me the opportunity. And I'm thankful for it because this is my first full-time position as a video coordinator, and he gave me the opportunity. So I really appreciate what he did. And I'm just glad to be able to help this team just grow in any needs that the video can provide them.
Of course, what are some of the day-to-day roles and responsibilities you have as the video coordinator?
Well, in the morning, I make sure all the meeting rooms for all the coaches are set up, good to go. There's nothing going wrong. If it is, fix it before we have our team meetings every day. After team meetings, we go to practice. So during practice, I'm editing the film. So as soon as practice is over, within no more than 10, 15 minutes, the coaches can go back. The players can go back and watch what they did, what they need to do to improve, whatever they need to do with the film is there for them. And then as the day go by, I just wait and make sure the coaches don't need anything. If they have any questions, if there's new games. So we have an exchange between different teams. So where if I need to get a game from, let's say we played Coastal Carolina last week, and we play Army this week. So I make sure all of the games from Army that they've played have been put into the system so our coaches can use the scout to figure out what they need to do and create a game plan.
Of course, what is that like, obviously, as you said, as you play Army this coming up week and you've played Coastal Carolina, what is that like coordinating with the other video coordinators to get that videos to your coaches?
Well, getting the game video isn't too bad because we have an open exchange. So as long as everybody uploads their film. So after games, we are required to upload our game film from that game. And we have a certain time frame. So usually for a home game, it's a lot easier because you're already here, you're already connected to your server. So it's really easy to download and upload your game. So usually I say for a home game, I normally put the game in right after it ends. So within 30 minutes to an hour, the game is uploaded. So anybody that needs our game, they can go and download it. Versus an away game is a lot different. So on an away game, we put our computers into what we call travel mode. So basically our offline mode. So I have to wait until we get back here to upload our game. So traveling is a little different. So it takes a little bit longer to get our game uploaded from the away team perspective. But the home team will probably have it in before the away team does. So just getting to know the different coordinators, that's pretty cool. And asking them, okay, what is your stadium's layout for our different cameras? Because here we shoot a sideline view and an end zone view and a scoreboard camera. So just talking to the different coordinators every week when we have an away game saying, hey, what is your setup like? So I can know what to tell my camera students, my film students, what do they need to do, what they need to prepare for, whether it's being on a lift or just being high up in general. So for instance, here at our stadium, we don't really use lifts. Everything is just on a regular platform, just high up. So I just wait for a coordinator reach out to me and say, hey, we're coming to your school this week. They may or may not have been here before. So letting them know, okay, this is what we have here. How can I help you make sure you have everything you need to do your job correctly?
Of course, as a video coordinator, are you also responsible for, let's say, the hype videos and the pre videos for the coming into the post game?
So we actually have a great creative media team here at Georgia State that does the hype videos. They do all of our content creation. They do a wonderful job. Some schools do, the video coordinator is responsible, but for me, I do not have that responsibility. I do look over the hype video before we show it every game day. So I do get a chance to see it before the team does. And I give a little input. I help give some let's say suggestions onto what should be done for the next week, but I personally don't create them. Our creative media team does an amazing job with them.
Of course, what are some of the things that you've learned so far as you start as the football coordinator, video coordinator?
Well, I've definitely learned time management and working with different people and different personalities, and just knowing that one coach might want this and another coach might want it this way. So just learning how to accommodate for different people, and also being accommodating as far as making sure, okay, practice is in, double checking, triple checking, making sure everything is working correctly. I don't need a time where practice wasn't put in and now a player can't see practice from 2 days ago. So just making sure my time management has really been helpful, and it's really something that I continue to focus on. And also just being personable, just getting to know new people. I mean, you're around so many different people. So just being there for people, being understanding, being around a team, being around a lot of these young men, as far as who represent our university on this football team, just getting to meet them, being around them, that's pretty cool. And just, they're a great group of guys in this locker room. So I enjoy just getting to talk to them every day.
Of course, how has it been, like, obviously, once the game is over with and stuff, and you're in the editing process, balancing the editing and also life outside of Georgia State?
Well, I will say, in video coordinators, we do enjoy our summertime. And we enjoy our summertime because we know when August comes, it's time to work. So I do have a life outside of Georgia State football. So I won't say that my life is just over when we're in season, but I'm focused. I'm focused on making sure the job gets done. So like I said, for our home games, it's a lot easier. Everything is right here. And we edit our games by the quarter. So by the time the game ends, the only quarter we have to edit is the fourth quarter. And then we intercut it, put it all together, and we send it out. So it's a lot easier. But away games are a lot more fast paced, because we're trying to put the game together. We're trying to put it on the coaches' surfaces so they can watch it on the way home and still be able to pack up all of our stuff and put it on the bus and be ready to go, and in a limited amount of time. So the away games is a lot more fast paced, but I enjoy it. I mean, I do better when there's pressure. I feel like I work 10 times better when I'm under a little pressure. Not just so relaxed. So I will say though, when my summers, I will learn to definitely appreciate them a lot differently.
Of course, as you said that you'll edit after each quarter, what is that like, obviously going into the back and editing after each quarter, let's say the first quarter and then halftime?
So I have a group of students. I have 9 students that currently work with me. So 3 of them will work on a camera, 3 of them will run cards for me and for the away team, and then the other 3 will be inside. Somebody would cut the sideline, somebody would cut end zone, and somebody would work on the scoreboard. And then all I do is just go back and if I'm not cutting with them, I would just go back and make sure everything looks right, making sure nothing is taken out that didn't need to be taken out, making sure we're not missing, no plays were missed, no plays were late. I just go back so I can make note of it to say, hey, we were late here. Let's not do that again. Because if a play is late, I can't turn back the hands of time and put it there. If a play was missed, it's a way we can get a misplay, but it's not something that I enjoy doing. So the editing process, I will say at halftime, it's really about the same after every quarter. It's not too much different. We keep the same process going over and over until it's done. And it's a lot efficient when you have a lot of hands doing it as well versus just one person trying to do it.
Of course, for my listeners that want to go into obviously being a football video coordinator in college football, what are some of the things that they need to do now that they may be in high school or even in college?
Well, I will say it's nice to, if you're high school, especially the football team, if they want to work in football video, some high schools do record games. So reach out to your high school team, like, hey, or it might be the AV team, whoever it may be, say, hey, I'm interested in, working in football video. And then when you get off to college, just reaching out. Like, I know I always, after every semester, depending on my needs, depending on if I have people leave or people graduate, I'm always eventually going to look for new students. So just looking out for when us as video coordinators and video directors reach out for new students, or like, for instance, my email is posted online, just reaching out to me. A lot of the students that work with me now, they reached out. Some of them reached out to me first. They didn't wait for a post to be made. They reached out to me saying they wanted to be involved with the football team, and I explained to them what we do. So just reaching out, just trying to figure out how can you get involved, especially at the school you go to. If you're more than likely going to any school that has a football program, more than likely they have video. So just reaching out, whether or not it's reaching out to the video coordinator, reaching out to the director of operations, you reach out to any and everybody till somebody responds, because somebody will always respond. And just, to me, the best way to learn what we do as video coordinators is to just do it. It's just to get involved, and it's really hands-on, because the software that we use, a lot of it's just messing around with the software and figuring it out. That's really how I learned. So I will say that's the best way to get involved in football video. And then going on, if you want to work in NFL, a lot of NFL teams, they have internships to where they have video people come in for a season. So even then, it's just about reaching out.
What are some of the things that you look at in those people that are looking to become video coordinators for you?
Well, I will say a lot of my students right now, they're not really too interested in what I do. A lot of them wanted to just work with the football team themselves. But I do have a few who give an effort into learning more. They ask a lot more questions. So I just I make myself available. I say all the time, I'm available anytime. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I have an open door. So if you want to come in earlier to see more of what I do, or stay later than not leaving right after practice to see more of what I do after practice, my door is always open to anybody. So I will say with the students that I work with and going forth, I plan to just make sure I give any knowledge that anybody wants to learn, I give it to them. Because that's what was done for me. I came in, I needed an internship for my last semester at Georgia State. I needed an internship, and I reached out from an email that was sent out to all these sport admin students about the video coordinator at the time was looking for video help. So I reached back, and while I couldn't get the internship because of the amount of hours that I personally needed, he still allowed me to still come. He was like, well, I can't give you the internship because you need too many hours, but if you still want to come, you can. He gave me the opportunity, and that's what brought me in. So I plan to do the same. Like, if anybody needs an internship, if anybody just wants to work around football and that is the way that they want to get involved, then I would just make sure my door is open, because that's how I'm here. So I definitely want to give back the same way.
What advice would you give people that are looking to work inside college athletics, such as how you did?
I would say it's all about networking. A lot of it is about who you meet, and also being able to set a name for yourself, represent yourself well, because you want people to be able to say great things about you when you're not in the room. I tell the students that work with me right now, it's not about what people say about you to your face. It's about what they say about you when you're not in the room. And they only know what to say based off how you represent yourself when you're around them. So I will always tell people to do what you want to do. Reach out to people and always be your best representation of yourself. If you do those things, then that is one way to definitely get involved in the college athletics, because it is a big business. College athletics is, and there's a lot of ways to get involved. So don't be stagnant. Don't say, oh, I want to work with the NFL one day, but only choose to work with a football team, because the football coach knows the baseball coach, knows the softball coach, knows the basketball coach. If I want to work with the NBA, don't be afraid if you can't get involved with the basketball team to work with the golf team. There's so many different ways to just get your foot in the door.
What advice would you give people that are looking to work with the football video coordinating side and work as a football video coordinator?
I would definitely say just to reach out to whatever, if you're in high school, see if your high school team has video, or if they don't, see why not. See if it's something that coaches would be interested in getting. And then when you go off to college, depending on what school you go to, reaching out, say, hey, I want to work in football video. Look to see what the team for the school that you're at has. So we at Georgia State, we have football video, and we have basketball has video as well. So it's just about reaching out, figuring out what's there, and then contacting people and continue to contact people until somebody responds. Because I've had people say, I reached out to 20 different people and you're the first one to respond to me. Sometimes it might take that 21st person to say something to you, but you just keep reaching out. Somebody will always respond.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the Georgia State football video program app?
So I can be found on LinkedIn. My name is Chantel Audaine, the same as Facebook. And I'm also on Twitter as C Audaine, Audaine. And you can also follow our football team at Georgia State Football on Twitter and Instagram.
Thank you again, Chantel Audaine, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Georgia State football as the video coordinator.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Chantel Audaine, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you. You too.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.